So good morning. That's not good morning anymore. Hello again. So my second presentation will be about three solutions that we are, which we are aiming to MDU installations. So I will do the classical mistake. I will start with a question in my presentation, but I will not do a that big mistake because I will answer myself. So who's our partner in MDU installation? Of the presentations that were here before mine, it's pretty obvious that it's a system integrator who's able to use the classical equation 1 + 1 = 3 to use the benefits of the integrations of our products, and the property management company that is doing pretty much the same, but on the level that they are using it as a part of their business, recurrent business, and offer to the customers. The question is, where are we different? That was the topic of the presentation. And the difference of our approach is that we are not focusing anymore just to the products to bring them to the customers, but we are also focusing to create environment, create tools for our partners, which are the system integrators and property managers, to support their business. Simple as that. And I will talk about three services or solutions that they can use to really support and grow their business based on our products. First service that is quite new from 2N is 2N Remote Configuration Service. Every product that 2N's got is configured by the very nice web interface. Those of you who are playing with the products are familiar with that. We have very good feedback on that, how it's working, and installers really like it. The only thing that you need to do is to connect through the local area network, and you can access the interface and configure pretty much everything that the product is capable to do. It's okay, so if I will be an installer, I will go to a site, I will make the installation, customer is happy, I will get back to my house, lie on the couch, turn on the TV, and then the customer is calling me and saying, hey, there is one thing which is not working and I'm really unsatisfied, do something with that. So, but I'm not anymore in the local network, so what can I do? So I can sit into my car and drive to the customer, which I don't want to do because I'm already lying on my couch and I, for example, had a couple of beers, or simply because of that it's too costly to simply drive to the customer site every time when I need to do some changes. Or I can use, for example, some tool like a remote desktop viewer or TeamViewer in this case, but that will require myself to ask the customer, okay, can you install the TeamViewer on your computer and connect some computer into the network together with the, forget it. You know, usually customers are not capable to do so. Or I can ask him the same thing, do some VPN tunnel or something like that, even more complicated. And the last thing I can ask him to do, or I can do myself if I'm in his network, is to create some port forwarding on his router. It will work, but the thing is that it's very dangerous because I will create open hole into his network, and it's a security issue on the first hand, and on the second hand, usually no customer is able to do it. You know, they don't really even know on which IP address they have the router. So what can I do? The first service is 2N Remote Configuration, so we can use My 2N portal and use the fact that every single product intercom we are producing is capable, if it's got access to the internet, to connect to the My 2N server. So what can I do is that I can add this intercom into the My 2N service called Remote Configuration and access remotely this intercom via its web interface in a full manner. It means I will have access to the full web interface over the My 2N. Simple as that. I will simply open the My 2N portal, go to my site where I can add the intercom of the customer, and anytime the customer needs some support from myself, I can just log in, connect to the unit, and make the configuration changes as it is, from anywhere in the world, and the thing is that there is no configuration needed. The second benefit of such an approach is that we are using a very secure way how to connect to it. I think Jan Maštalič will show you tomorrow in his presentation the scheme, which is very complicated. But simply said, we are using double encrypted VPN inside VPN, so it's very secure way how to access the intercom, and it doesn't require any configuration on the customer side. So it's very simple and very quick way how to help your customers to make changes if there's anything going wrong or they need some change in the configuration. The second service we do have is 2N site management. You may know that if you will connect to the My2N portal, there is entity we call site, and right now it simply works the way that if you do have installation in an NVU building, for example, you are able to manage this building, manage devices within this building, and you can create more and more sites if you do have more buildings within the installation, and then from a comfort way, by the comfort way, you can use your computer, log into the My2N portal, and you will see all the sites that you have installed, and you can configure them, you can manage them, you can do the billing. So everything you need, you have under one portal. Right now, the feature set is, I would say, basic, because you are able just to manage basic call scenarios, and for some advanced features, you need to go directly to the unit and configure it manually, which can be, by the way, done by the remote configuration if needed. This is something that we are heavily working on, and within the next year we will bring a couple of new features and new approaches to how to do the site management. First of all, that we will create much easier bulk plug-and-play configuration, because you will not be forced to go to the unit itself to make a configuration of some services, but all the services related to the NVU configuration will be done by the My2N. So you will only say which unit is calling which flat, and that's it. All the other parameters will be configured automatically for all the units within the building. It will be a really huge step ahead for us, because we will make a tool which will really simplify the configuration for 99% of the NVU installations, thus it will save time to the install. The second thing is that we are making a very big change in the approach to the site as we understand it right now, because right now for us, site means a building with some number of intercoms, number of answering units, number of mobile video licenses or devices. And we will change it because the feedback from the market we have is that we need to be able to work with a unit called flat. We need to simply divide the building into each flat and treat them separately. And that's coming with a second or third change we are doing, that we will change the pricing scheme for the NVU projects. And this is something which is different from the situation when customer will buy subscription online. That's nothing. That doesn't have nothing to do with the NVU installations. But for the projects that are going through distribution, we will be able to charge the flat, which is much easier for the distribution, for the integrator, really to adapt to the building. Because, for example, they have building with 100 flats, but they have 50 flats still for rent, and they are not occupied by anybody. So they need to change the pricing model, because right now we are charging per building, per amount of the licenses. So these are the changes we are planning for the site management tool, as we call it, within the My2N. So it will be much easier to meet the requirements of the installers on the NVU installations for the My2N portal as it is. And the last service I would like to talk about is 2N Partner API. 2N Partner API is really a different way how to approach control of the intercom by our partners, and again I mean integrators or property managers. If we are talking about API, we are always talking about the device and some code which is sending usually HTTP commands to the device. And again, the same thing is that you are requested to be in the network to be able to send commands to the device to do something. For example, like with the C3PO over here and Darth Vader to talk to each other over the HTTP APIs. This is easy, and again, if I'm not in the network, for example, I'm the property management company which is running a server somewhere in the cloud, and I'm having a CRM software over there, and I would like to control the devices on the customer side, I will need to do something like port forwarding, because I will need to have access to the router and then have access to the internal network of the customer. So let's imagine I have one building and I will do all the work around, that I will make port forwarding on the router and I will have access to the customer's subnet, to the customer's network. And I will be able to meet all the requirements of the devices that are installed within the building. Answering units, intercoms, access control, cell phones, maybe IP phones for concierge station, and so on. The request we usually have, or what these customers usually want to achieve, want to do over the API, is to very simply update information on the display. If there is somebody who will be moving in, they would like to just do it in their CRM software, it will be uploaded automatically to the display. They would like to create the calling rules for the My2N service. They would like to add and delete devices if they, for example, change the intercom, add intercom, and so on. Or they want to upload access control credentials into the intercoms or to the access units automatically. So once you move in, you have just an envelope with the RFID cards in your mailbox, and you will just get them, and it works instantly. Well, it's easy to do it like that if you have one building, that's for sure. But if you will have multiple buildings, because you are a very successful property management company, it will start to be kind of pain in a way. So, because if you have multiple buildings, you need to start care of things like how I will scale this solution based on port forwarding, for example, or on not scalable approach to the access to the customer's network. How I will solve the thing that if I will create such a port forwarding scenario and something happens, who's responsible for that? Because it's a security risk, because I'm making the hole into the customer's network. Are there any rules? And they can be different. There can be different ISPs providing access to the customer's network. So there's a lot of issues that you can meet, and that's the thing where Partner API is something that really solves these issues. So what we do have is the installation side with all the devices. On the other end, we do have the customer software, some CRM software, whatever, with all the things that they want to do. Add intercoms, change information on the display, and so on. What we need to know is this little thing, this little sticker, which is on every single product that we are selling, which is able to be connected to the My2N portal. This little sticker is telling you the serial number of the device and My2N security code. And it really identifies this device, and it's a security thing, because it's a key to the device itself. So with every device, customer will get this sticker, a certificate, as it will be distributed very soon. And this certificate will serve as a key to the device wherever it is. We will have a My2N portal, and on My2N portal we do have a partner API. It means that the API is not in the device itself, but that the API sits in the cloud on the address www.my2n.com/API whatever. So it's accessible through the internet, for example, from other cloud solutions. And the only thing you need to know on the side of the software where the API is written by the programmer, so you want to do something with a specific device, is again the sticker with the My2N security code and the serial number. So this will allow you to send HTTP command, or command in general, to the device from the software through the API to the device, because we know where it's located. We know its IP address, and we have open, secure channel, TCP channel to the device all the time when it's online. What does it mean? It means that it doesn't matter where the device is located. If you have installations all around the world, the access to the devices is still the same. You are using singular API placed on the My2N, and by using a special way how to send the command, you are able to do it with any device literally in the world. The word is cloud-to-cloud integration, because usually this works the way that the customer's got a cloud solution, we do have a cloud solution, and we are just exchanging the information through the APIs. The good thing is that we are also able to send information through this API. So, for example, if somebody will activate tamper, change hardware on the device, audio loop test will not work, this is something that we are able to send over the API to the customer's solution, to the CRM software. So immediately when somebody, for example, changed a piece of hardware, it means, for example, disconnect the display from the device, we can alert their system that such a thing happened. And one of the brilliant things is that over this API, we are able to start the VPN connection, which is, in other words, called to a remote configuration. What does it mean is that if the customer's got his software, they can very easily implement the frame, that they will open a frame in their system with the configuration menu of the specific intercom. In other words, you can have your CRM software and very easily implement that you will click and you will open the interface of the intercom, which is located on the other side of the world, just like that. So to wrap it up, these three services are intended to be used by different customers. So I have divided it into three parts. We have installers. They are usually doing small installations, single houses, usually single villas or small MDUs. Then we have integrators that are really taking care about big houses, big MDU projects, and then we have the property managers that are taking care of really large numbers of installations, because it's their business to take care of something that is built and, for example, it's done and equipped by the integrator, and then they will take over to charge it on a regular basis. So tool and remote configuration is something which is really intended for the installers and system integrators, because it's giving them a tool how to really quickly, in a cheap way, that's very important, react on the customer requests, provide immediate support. They can really use it as a benefit that they are able to provide immediate support to the customers without requesting to install some software on their side, or even to sit in the car and drive there, which is very costly. And the property management companies can benefit from it, for example, if they don't want to implement this feature over the partner API, but they simply need sometimes to do some configuration changes on the intercom itself. The tool and site management is a tool that we really want the integrators to use as a tool. It's a tool for them, like for me is a tool of Microsoft PowerPoint. They can use it, they can build their business on that, because they have all the information about the billing, they have all the information about the sites, and they can use it as a management tool for the MDU installations that they are doing. Not only for the MDU, even for the office installations, but mainly for the MDU ones. The installer, if it's a big and successful installer, he can of course use it, but usually these guys are working on a smaller basis, so they can use it. It's not charged, for example, but it's not intended for the install. And the partner API obviously is intended mainly for the property managers. We expect them to use it, and we already have such integrations with some OEM partners, that they will integrate their system, their cloud solution over the partner API to do something with our intercoms by their system. So that's all for my presentation. The call for action is that you should really use the benefit of the services we are providing to your customers to build a very successful business on that. Thank you very much for your attention, and I will ask Michael to introduce another presentation.